Hey hun, I'm Chloe and this is the Straddle Pancake tutorial. My mission is to share my passion for pole dancing and make pole dancing easy to learn and accessible. This is the fourth video of the intermediate pole trick tutorial series. In order to maximize your training out of all the videos, I highly recommend you to start from the very first video of this playlist, as the tricks will be a progression of the video before. The pancake straddle is a perfect intermediary trick between the half straddle and also the full straddle invert. This is also a way to get into the scorpio or the inside leg hang as well. This video is mirrored for your ease of learning. I'll have a red wristband on my right wrist and my right ankle to indicate the right side of my body if you do get confused of the directions. This trick tutorial is created for you for information and educational purposes only, and for you to enjoy learning pole dancing from the comfort of your own home. Please participate at your own risk and don't work beyond your capability, and seek help or spotting when necessary. For any health concerns, please make sure you seek professional medical advice. Please make sure you warm up your body before you start this trick. I have a warm-up playlist depending on your level under each playlist so that you can warm up before you do this trick. If you enjoy this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up so that I know to create more of these kinds of videos, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet so you are notified every single time I upload a video. If you're looking to further your pole journey and combining tricks and dance together, then consider subscribing to my online learning platform, Pole Art Vault, where we put tricks and dance together into a routine and learn an entire combo plus dance to a song. If you're looking for information, you can find the link in the description. Alrighty, without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. Alrighty, now let's get into our conditioning. For our conditioning today, we're starting off with our ankle grab from the floor and lifting up so that our body is horizontal. So let's come down onto the floor. We've done this similar conditioning in our ankle grab tutorial, so make sure that you've watched that before you try this conditioning. So we're getting the pole right into our shelf. So I'm starting off with my right shelf, inside hand on the bottom and outside hand on top. Now from there, I'm hooking my outside ankle in front of the pole. I'm lifting my hip up nice and high until my upper back is almost lifted and only my inside shoulder is on the floor. From there, I'm lifting up until my back is horizontal to the floor, holding it, and then coming back down. So you should feel a lot of squeeze through your core and also obviously through your bicep and also your core as well. So let's just try doing this. So make sure that you're squeezing through your legs and lifting up. Hold and coming down. Well done. Let's try it on the other side. So I'm getting my inside shelf onto the pole, inside hand on the bottom, outside hand on top. I'm going to hook my outside ankle onto the pole. I'm gonna lift up, pressing my hips up. Inside leg goes behind. I'm going to lift up, hold, and then back down. Last one, lift up, and then down. Well done. Now let's get into our next conditioning. We're trying our pancake straddle from the floor on our back. So we're gonna get our pole right into our shelf. So if there's any material interfering with your shelf, make sure you remove that. Inside hand on the bottom, outside hand on top, and we're coming into a straddle. Now from there, think about pulling the pole out of the ceiling and lifting your hips up. So we're working through our abs and pulling through those hands, so really using our biceps. So think about lifting your hip, and then if it helps you, you can also pull your toes towards you a little bit. Lift. And then last one, lift. Well done. Let's try it on the other side. Get that pole right into your shelf. Inside hand on the bottom, outside hand on top. Bring your leg out into a straddle. And then lift your butt off. Lift. Good, that's it. 3 more. Good, 2. Last one. Well done. And that's all your conditioning done. Alrighty, now let's get into our pancake straddle. Now this is what a pancake straddle looks like. Alright, so as you can see, the pancake straddle is almost a hybrid of a straddle up and also a full straddle invert. So the difference between the straddle up, the pancake straddle, and the full invert is that when you're doing a pancake straddle, all the way from your hips to your head is in one horizontal plane. When you're doing your straddle up, from your hip to your head is on a vertical plane. When you're doing your full invert, your hips and hands are at the same level and your head is fully down on a vertical plane. So I'll show you the difference. This is our straddle up, pancake straddle, straddle invert. So, in order to get your full pancake straddle, the easiest way to do this is from the floor. So where we started just before, we're getting our shelf onto the pole and we're bringing our leg out into a straddle. Remember that this is the positioning that we want to be in, up in the air. Now, the easiest way to do this is from an ankle grab. So let's just try this from an ankle grab first. I'm coming onto my toes, inside armpit onto the pole, outside and on top. I'm kicking my outside ankle up, sliding both of our legs up, getting that pole right into the shelf. Now from there, I'm going to start dropping my hip down until it's level with my head, and then I'm bringing my legs out into a straddle. Well done. Now, I'm just gonna do this from the side so that you can see. Remember that once you come into your ankle grab that you're dropping your hips down until your hips are horizontal to the floor, and I'm just bringing my legs out into a straddle. Now, if you want to obviously do this from the floor, then all you're doing is lifting both of your knees up towards your shoulder, then coming into a full straddle. So I'm coming into my armpit, inside armpit onto the pole, outside and on top. As you pull, you're going to tip your head back and then coming out. Perfect, well done. Now, another thing you can obviously do is keep both of your legs straight when you're coming into your pancake straddle instead of bending your knees. Or you can do one leg bent, one leg straight as well. So if you were to bend one leg and then straighten the other one, always bend your outside leg and keep your inside leg straight. Remember, always identify which one's your inside and outside before you get into the move. So I'm starting off with stepping in with my inside leg. I'm going to bend my outside leg, then straighten. And again, if you want to go ahead and make it really hard for yourself, or you're working on your straight legs, nice pretty legs, then feel free to straighten both of your legs. Well done. So there is your pancake straddle. Remember that there is quite a difference between your pancake straddle and your full straddle. Your pancake straddle is going to be a good entry into doing your inside leg hangs or Scorpios. Your full straddle is worked on or used for when you're doing your Geminis and outside leg hangs as well, which we'll be covering very, very soon. So stay tuned for that as well. Well done. Now let's go through some tips and common mistakes. First common mistake is grip. Now remember that when you're doing your pancake straddles, that you actually need your shelf grip. If your shelf is not exposed, then it is going to be very tricky for you to hold your pancake straddle. So make sure that you get that skin exposure of your shelf. And remember, you can always press your shelf into the pole, and try not to press your rib cage into the pole. This is another common mistake. Now, if you are pressing your rib cage into the pole, it's probably because when you're grabbing the pole, you're pulling yourself too close to the pole. So remember that you want to drop and think about keeping your back flat. So if you're either arching or hunching a lot, then you're going to end up getting that pole right into your rib cage. So make sure that you keep your back as flat as possible and then drop your hip down and not through your back. So you're still engaging through those biceps and really pulling through. Now, the next common mistake is your hand grip or your body grip as well. Now, make sure that you've got ample grip for your hands. If you've got sweaty hands, get something drying. If you've got sweaty skin, if you have dry skin, then make sure you get something dewy for your body. All the products that I use are linked in the description, so feel free to use any of those links and make sure that you get the grip that's right for you. Sometimes you might find some grip that aren't as maybe suitable for you, and research will go a long way. I'll try to link a few different products for you so that you can have a look and see which one is suitable for you and your skin type as well. The next common mistake is rounded back. Now, when you are doing your pancake straddles, make sure that your back isn't hunched. So what I mean by that is this. When you're doing your pancake straddles, and if your straddles are starting to look like that, then your best bet is to start working on it from an ankle grab rather than kicking up into it. Now, once you build a bad habit, it's going to be really hard to undo that. And also what happens is you're going to get injured over time. You're not going to build the correct muscles that you need. So when you really need to be able to get strong overall, you might not be able to do some tricks that are about to come. So make sure that you work on really good technique now, and things are going to be so much easier and so much prettier when you really start to work on the other tricks as well. So remember, once you come into your ankle grab, you can always readjust yourself. So think about pushing your chest up, get that pole right into your shelf, then drop your hips down without dropping your back down. Meaning, if you're dropping your back down, that probably means that you're bunching up everything through your shoulders and your back. So think about pulling your shoulder back and then down to the floor. And that's gonna help you get the proper engagement that you need. The last tip I have for you is ensuring that your head is neutral. Now, with the full straddle invert, you're looking down to the floor, but for the pancake straddle, your head is leveled so you can actually look at your hands. So rather than tipping all the way backwards, make sure that you're looking towards your hand and keeping your head neutral and horizontal to your hips. Now that is all the tips and common mistakes. Now, a little mindset tip I have for you today is persevering through training. Now, a lot of people think that I'm naturally gifted or talented in pole dancing. And I would be silly to say that talent does not mean anything. And it's almost like nature versus nurture. And I think there's also talent and also the training aspect of it. Now, what differentiates me, I think, from other people is that I have learned over time to stay with my training and problems longer than others. Now, what I mean by problems is maybe there's some tricks that you're still figuring through. Some tricks are going to take longer, and it's just going to be really frustrating for you to just stick to that training because you feel like a failure doing that one training trick. Now, that is such a normal thing to feel, and I totally understand that. I have gone through so many tricks where I'm like, I cannot get this for the life of me. I've been training it for literally 2 years and I've not had any success in them. Now, for a lot of people, 2 years is a very, very long time, and that might have already thrown something out of them and they do not want to train that anymore, or they do not even want to pursue pole dancing all on its own. But what I've learned over time is that maybe you might not see it now, but if you train and if you're consistent with training, that you never know until you get that trick one day. There was one trick that really took me 2 years, maybe even 2.5 years. There's some tricks that I was able to do it once, lost it for 2 years. And I think that's also part of the journey. You never ever know until you keep training and you are consistent with it, that one day it just clicks. So remember that as much as you might want to think that some people are talented, that you never know what they're going through. And honestly, I wouldn't be here if I didn't fail 100, 1,000, even like 1,000,000 times. I've fallen so many times, obviously safely. And that is totally part of the journey. So remember, as long as you're passionate about something and as long as you consistently train, and remember, train smartly and don't beat yourself over things that you can't get, that you're going to build that strength that you need to. And one day you're gonna get that trick that you really want. Thank you so much for joining me in the Pancake Straddle tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you in the very next tutorial. Bye! What are you doing there? What's up? Aren't you a cutie? Do you want to say hi to friends? Friends, he said hi.